Okay, number 4. For this one, we are going to start out using our go-to strategy of rewriting in terms of sine and cosine. So starting with cosecant squared, we can use a reciprocal identity, 1 over sine squared. And we're going to keep this cosine. Plus cotangent squared is cosine squared over sine squared. That's a quotient identity. Okay, we could go ahead and multiply these two to get cosine over sine squared. And notice that these have a common denominator. So then we can combine them into one fraction. When we add fractions, we need a common denominator. Okay, the next part is a new strategy. So remember the other day we factored a difference of squares? Here, this also factors, but it's not a difference of squares. There's a GCF. So we're going to factor out cosine. When we factor out cosine, that's cosine times 1 plus cosine. And you can see if we distribute, we multiply these two together, it is cosine plus cosine squared. All right, it keeps going. Okay, also similar to the other day, notice the 1 plus cosine x on top. That cancels with a 1 plus cosine x on the bottom, which we don't have right now. But what I do see is sine squared. And using a Pythagorean identity, sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. So you might see where we're going with this. Sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared. Let's factor the denominator, since that is a difference of squares. This is 1 plus cosine times 1 minus cosine. Do you see where it's going now? We're setting up these two factors for the difference of squares. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of cosine squared is cosine. And for difference of squares, one of them is plus and the other one is minus. Okay, so now here we are. These factors cancel because when we divide them, we get 1. And we have verified this identity. We are left with cosine divided by 1 minus cosine. So we have shown that the two sides are equal. And we are done.